For this seat, on this route, for this price, Air Premia, hands down, cannot be beat. Hi there, my name is Kevin. This channel came from a love of traveling, a love of the full process and the journey itself. I feature airline trip reports and high-end hotel reviews from all over the world. My reviews aren't sponsored by airlines or hotels, so you can be sure to get my unbiased and honest opinion. Am I an expert? You can decide. Am I fair? Yeah, I am. Let's get into it. Welcome to Saigon. If you'd like to know the exact fare that I paid for my flight, or my next 5 videos in queue, please check out the description below. First of all, holy hell, I cannot remember the last time that I saw such a chaotic terminal, like, in my life. But yes, this is how it looks just about every night here, with the largest international bank of flights of the day. We'll get into that more. For now, let's try to weave our way through the crowds just to get inside. And welcome to this new series, or well, this new trip. The longest that I've ever taken, in fact. Over the next 35 or so videos, we're going to explore 21 hotels and take 15 flights on 12 different airlines through 12 different countries. So let's get started. Today we're going to be flying up to Seoul, and we can thank Flightradar24 for this flight. Why? Well, some months earlier, I'd just been looking at the app and clicked on the plane overhead, and it was Air Premia. What the heck is Air Premia? I had no idea. So I searched around, and when I saw how different and cheap the airline was, I decided to tack on a Korea and Japan leg to this trip that originally started in Singapore. Air Premia, they are the newest airline flying this route and also the newest carrier in South Korea. They call themselves Korea's first hybrid carrier, according to them, offering full-service airline amenities for low-cost airline prices. It's a seemingly magic combination that many airlines have failed to make successful in the past. There is one critical thing that you need to bring along with you in order to get through security. That is patience. Air Premia only has 787 wide-body aircraft, 4 of them at the moment and 1 more on order. The iconic shape of the 787 window is actually what makes up their logo, so I'd say they're pretty committed to Boeing at this point. I had a very quick stop at the Apricot Lounge and just decided to head to the gate early since it was pretty busy and just getting busier. So, Air Premia currently fly to 6 destinations, with Newark service having started in May and Frankfurt starting in June. Saigon was one of the very first though, and I'd like to dive into that a bit, because even I had absolutely no idea how massive the market between Korea and Vietnam is. I knew it was big, but not on this scale. More specifically, just between Seoul, Incheon, and Vietnam. Let me give you a bit of context as best as I can. At the time of writing, if you take all of the flights between New York's JFK Airport and Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego, it amounts to an average of around 52 flights per day. That's a lot of flights. These are very heavy-hitting routes in the US, especially to LAX and SFO. Between Seoul and Vietnam, on the other hand, there are currently also 52 flights on a whopping 10 different airlines. Let's keep in mind that we are also still nowhere near pre-COVID levels yet. This is a gigantic market, and there's plenty of pie to share. In fact, the largest carrier in Korea, Korean Air, welcomes the competition, especially in the US, since it will only help their case in merging with Asiana. Heading to the gate now, we're in the middle of the nightly rush, which has 24 international flights over around a 3-hour period, with 17 of them going to Japan or South Korea. They offer economy and premium economy on all of their flights, which they refer to as Premia 35 and Premia 42 respectively, referring to the seat pitch of the classes. For comparison, 29 to 30 inches is standard pitch for low-cost carriers, and 31 to 32 inches is standard for full-service carriers. 35 is literally unheard of, unless you're paying for extra legroom seats, something like Delta Comfort Plus for example. As for premium economy, the 42 inches advertised is also more than the standard 36 to 39 inches for premium economy. The only other airline that I know of that offers 42 in premium economy is Japan Airlines. More so than typical carriers, Air Premia focuses on its specific seat offerings a lot in its advertising. After all, they named their classes after their seat pitch. It would be as if Qatar Airways renamed their business class, the entire experience and class, as Q Suites. We were a bit delayed due to a quote-unquote technical reason, but ended up boarding just around 10 minutes behind schedule, with Premia 42 passengers given priority. For tonight's flight stats, we ended up taking off around 20 minutes behind schedule and made our way up to 37,000 feet for our 2,200-mile flight to Seoul, where we'd end up landing 25 minutes ahead of schedule. So, did you feel that foreshadowing earlier about the seats? Yeah. So, as I stepped on board, something was immediately off to me. These weren't their seats, the handsome dark blue, modern seats that they advertise. These were Norwegian Air seats. I didn't know this at the time, but of the 4 787s that Air Premia currently has, 2 of them are new, and 2 of them are 5 years old, coming from Norwegian Air, and they didn't install their own cabins on them. So 50% of their fleet has these cabins. There's nothing particularly wrong about these seats. They're still premium economy seats. They still have more or less the same legroom, but it's just a much older version. The seat was nicely stocked with a few amenities such as slippers, and had easy-to-use controls for both the entertainment, leg rest, and seat recline. And they also had overhead vents, which I was very happy about, a rare thing on wide bodies these days. The pillow and blanket were standard economy issue, but they were clean. The blanket was soft, and since the seat next to me was the only one open in the cabin, I had doubles. And if you're wondering how I snagged the seat with the open seat next to it, I think I changed my seat assignment on this flight around 6 times in the days leading up to the flight itself, always putting myself next to whichever seat happened to open up. Pre-takeoff drinks were offered in a snazzy branded paper cup. Water and juice were on offer. For premium economy, the headphones were decent quality and still had the plastic on them, which I left intact to give someone else the pleasure of peeling it off. Each seat also had a universal outlet and a leg rest. The leg rest, with a bit of force, adjusted to fit a variety of leg lengths, but was a pain in the neck to put back in place without it slowly creeping up again. There's also an adjustable headrest. Overall, it is a comfortable seat. My only gripe for taller travelers is that since the IFE monitors are in the center console, the armrests are quite long, as in nearly past your knees, so sitting with your legs crossed was a bit uncomfortable. Pushback began, as did their slightly creepy safety video, which seemed to be animated in 1998. I'm considering to start a series of trip reports titled Revenge Airlines. The founder of Air Premia is the former executive of Jeju Air. The same, fine, I'll leave, but I'm going to go start my own airline, has also led to Taiwan's Starlux and India's Akasa Air, and I'm sure quite a few more that I don't know about yet. We'd be doing a standard takeoff today from Saigon, but I do love sitting in the back of a 787 cabin in particular on takeoff. The windows are so big that you can watch it from both sides. The spool up, takeoff, and airport stats are coming up next. By the way, I simply haven't had time to work on them recently, but I will be posting again soon on my Roam Above channel, linked in the description below, hopefully this summer. Over there you can see all of my full takeoff and landing clips, as well as some full flights. There are already plenty of videos over there now, but I have a growing backlog of around 50 videos ready to start posting as well. Our northeasterly route to Seoul would end up being a painfully short red-eye. And I swear, even before takeoff, 90% of the plane was asleep. Not that I'd be able to do that right away now anyway, but I really wish that I had that sleep on-off switch programming. The primary meal served would be done before landing, so I ordered a snack from their buy on board menu first. It was perfectly fine, can't ever go wrong with honey butter almonds. Let's take a look at the onboard entertainment. Another trip report that I watched from when the airline was just launched showed that they only had Korean titles. Surely that must have changed, right? No. You're gonna go to Korea, and you're gonna watch a Korean movie whether you like it or not. At least they did have a decent flight map program. A couple hours later, the cabin lighting began to wake up, as did Mother Nature. And I'll note that I do love the colors of the brand, specifically because they tell you the names on board. And they're actually really accurate descriptions: Morning Deep Blue and Sunrise Orange. Here, you can see the shape that you'll need to contort your body into in order to get out of the seat when the seats in front of you are reclined. Makes me wonder if these really are 42 inches of pitch. Normally I'd have my laser measurer thing with me, but since I didn't think I'd need it on this flight, I usually only use it for business class seats, it was buried in my spinner bag. While waiting for breakfast to roll down the aisle, I got a peek at the restrooms. Standard stuff with a couple extra amenities for premium economy. I'm curious if on their longer flights whether they're going to give out a small amenity kit or something, similar to what I received recently on French B. Breakfast was a choice of rice porridge or a frittata, and I went with the frittata. Might I add that I'd like to start a frittata petition, with the mission of replacing all onboard omelets with frittatas, because they just reheat so much better. My thanks to any airline that actually serves them. Anyway, it was a very tasty breakfast, though the serveware and plastic utensils did make it all feel pretty cheap. Even just upgrading the utensils would elevate this entire meal. As our breakfast turbulence subsided, the sun began to rise as we began our approach into Seoul. And it gave us plenty of that sunrise orange. Something about sunrises and sunsets from the air in and around Japan and South Korea. I don't know if it's just something in my mind, but they're always more crystal clear. We would be approaching Seoul from the southeast. Enjoy the final descent. It's a new trip, so let's switch this up a little bit. When creating a hotel or flight review, what do you think are some of the most important characteristics about that review? To me, to make it a truly unbiased review, two things need to be true. First, I need to pay a fare or rate that is publicly available and receive no special treatment or compensation whatsoever. Second, I need to film anonymously. If I reveal my identity today, that means that an airline or a hotel might recognize me tomorrow. And then they're gonna lay on that special VIP treatment extra thick. I don't want that. So rest assured that today's video is exactly what I say it is, an unbiased review. And that's why your likes, subscriptions, and comments are all the more important to help support the channel continue to grow. My Patreon is also linked in the description below. A relatively quick taxi, and off we were to end up on the tail end of a pretty long immigration line. No complaints for me though, with views like this going along the way. So, Air Premia. It's a very promising prospect, but whether they're successful is going to be a wait and see game. They say they plan to have 10 aircraft by the end of next year and will be quote-unquote growing aggressively. But right now, you can't book connecting flights on their website. Despite how cheap this flight was, the absolute cheapest round-trip Seoul to Newark fare that I could find was around $1,500, which is frankly not that cheap, with Air Canada and American offering premium economy tickets for the same price. For the right price though, I'd be more than happy to fly them again. I really do hope that you enjoyed this trip report today. If you did, please be sure to click that thumbs up button and subscribe with notifications on, so that you don't miss my upcoming videos, which will include the Park Hyatt and Andaz in Seoul, a T-Way A330 flight to Tokyo, and the Okura and Hyatt Centric in Tokyo. Oh, and thanks for watching till the end.